line.
Series of The Bottom Line.
And welcome to our special ingredient, our studio audience.
Yes, our bottom liners who help us to get to the bottom of things that matter.
So stay with us for the next half hour for The Bottom Line.
This week, in an exclusive report, Kate and Phil Cater discover what's in their tap water.
And we find out what happens when you answer ads like these. And later on, Michelle Barber and Pat White check out the credit deals for us.
And I'm looking for the answer to this question. What has this birthday card got in common with this toothbrush? And what about this tin of sardines here with this packet of cheese sandwiches? Well, what they all have in common is that they're really difficult to open. A number of our bottom liners have written to us complaining that they find some sorts of everyday packages very difficult to open. So we've set up a challenge between our bottom liners and packaging designers and technologists from Michael Peters and Partners, the leading packaging designing company in the country.
On my right, and for The Bottom Line, Susan Atkinson from Newcastle and Iris Fowler from London. Now, they've each brought in 3 things which they consider to be the most difficult pieces of packaging available. Firstly, Susan from Newcastle, what have you brought?
Brought a box of salt powder, a bottle of flavoured milk and a jar of gherkins.
Flavoured milk, nice one. Iris, what you got?
Well, I find anything with a can opener is very difficult.
And
So
dangerous.
I've got a tin of sardines there and a toothbrush because you've got quite a lot of packaging there.
Yeah.
And a birthday card, and I've got long nails, so I still find them very difficult.
On my left, from Michael Peters and Partners, we have Kathy Luzon. Is that the right way to say it?
Lozon.
Lozon, you are a packaging technologist.
That's right.
And over there is Karen Wellman, who is a packaging designer, yes?
Right.
Now, you have in front of you exactly the same everyday packages that our bottom liners brought in. Nothing unequal at all here, everyone's fair. Now, I'm going to give you 1 minute, teams, to open as many of these packages as you can. And to act as commentator on this exciting race, would you please welcome David Hamilton. Come in, mate. Go.
I've certainly commentated on some strange things. This has got to be the strangest of all.
The bottom line can come up with them, David.
Right.
Now, you've got a good crowd in. We want you to cheer and do whatever you like.
Yes,
it's all
we do.
yours. You have 60 seconds, starting from now.
Okay, and away they go, and they are off. And my goodness me, yes, we have Kathy going really well on the parcel here. We have Susan coming up on the outside on the sardines. We've got a real cavalry charge on here today. The jar of pickles is certainly giving them a good run for their money. We have a refusal here. We have a refusal on the toothbrush. Yes, it is at the moment the halfway mark, and toothbrush is very definitely bringing up the rear. Birthday card is nearly as hard to open as a British rail sandwich, but more fun finding out what is inside. Plastic bottle is proving a little difficult on the rails. A little bit of maybe not enough bottle there at the moment. Coming into the final stretch now. The sardines are definitely under pressure. The whip is out on the chocolate milk. If it carries on like this, it could be whipped cream. Well, we're moving into the final furlong now. Going is very, very definitely hard here, but yes, I think everybody, birthday card could make it to the post. Yes.
That's your wet. Now, come on. What have we got? Oh, the pickles. Did anyone open the pickles? You didn't. I can see the toothbrushes up on this side, so-and-so, so-and-so. I think, and I am not prejudiced here, I think the members of the public have beaten the packaging technology, which I think goes to prove that they've had more experience than you have, but it is still very difficult. In the meantime, David Hamilton, our bottom liners and our packaging technologists and designers, thank you very much indeed.
Seriously, though, packaging can be a real headache, especially for old people, and some things are extremely difficult to open without either damaging the contents or getting it all down your front. With me is Jane Bickerstaff from InkPen, the Industry Committee for Packaging and the Environment. Jane, why is packaging such a problem?
Well, I think that
It isn't really. If you're in the kitchen, for example, you aren't going to have much trouble getting into the majority of packaging because you've got scissors or a can opener with you. But there are examples, and you, I think I have to compliment you on your choice, found some very good ones that are more difficult to get into. And that's because manufacturers have a whole host of reasons for requirements from packaging, ranging from whether they want to protect the product from light through to do they want reclosability, a host of other things, and sometimes getting into the product goes further down the list of priorities. But I think after you've shown your examples tonight, those manufacturers will want to look again at how to get into the product.
Well, we've got a little challenge for you, Jane. We've got a packet here of soya milk. We'd like you to open this now. It doesn't say use scissors, so we'd just like to see you do it without scissors. Come on, Jane, you're against the
Okay, well,
clock.
what I would do first is look for instructions.
Well,
You're
there
quite
aren't
right,
any
there aren't any.
instructions.
You've checked that out already.
You can use your teeth if you like. It's not very hygienic.
No, no, you're okay.
Yeah.
Just possible.
So the bottom line on this seems to be, for ease of opening, never travel without a packaging expert.
Now, money. With Christmas just round the corner, thoughts turn to buying presents, all the expense and the money, and credit. But just how can you spot a good credit deal? Well, checking the APR or interest rate is a good way of comparing credit, but the only really sure way of knowing what a credit deal will cost you in the end is to find out the total amount you have to pay at the end of the day.
But a survey by our intrepid bottom-liners shows that that information isn't very easy to come by. 16 of our sleuths went to 90 stores around the country to seek out this MIDI hi-fi, the Sony Compact 100. It costs you around £350 retail. And besides the retail price, we asked our bottom-liners to note down the APR, that's annual percentage interest rate, on all the credit deals the stores offered, together with the monthly payments. And they were also asked to find out the total amount they'd have to pay back on the deals. Success, Michael?
Well, here are 4 of our team: Gillian, Irene, Michelle and Pat. Now, ladies, was everything hunky-dory and crystal clear?
No, it wasn't.
Gillian from Exeter, what went wrong?
Well, you go and ask the assistants the information. They just don't seem to have the details that you require. In fact, most of them turn up their eyes in panic.
Was it easy for all of you to get the total cost of the deal?
Not at all.
In fact, out of the 106 credit deals offered to our sleuths, only 35 said what the total payback would be. Irene Christie from South London, what was your problem?
Most of the stores I went to seemed to think the total purchase price was completely irrelevant. One suggested that I could quite easily work it out myself, and in fact, all the stores that had their own plastic credit cards wanted you to take out one of those.
Did you ever get the total cost on the card?
No.
Well, if the stores won't tell us, let's run the figures for ourselves to find out why it's important to know what that total payback is. To help us, someone who's no stranger to credit problems, Billy Corkhill from Brookside, alias actor John McArdle. John, has Billy got over his financial problems yet?
Yeah, for those of you who watched Brookside, he got over his financial problems when Doreen walked out on him 12 months ago because she was a victim of credit card mania, and that helped contribute toward the breakup of the Corkhill marriage.
What about you? Do you use credit cards yourself?
No, I can get into debts without using credit cards.
Well, perhaps using our specially programmed computer, you can help our bottom liners work out what their credit deals would have cost. Mike, the details.
OK, Pat, now, what were you offered?
Well, the store I visited offered me their own credit card. The APR was 32.9 and the repayments were £17 a month.
And did they give you any details of the payback?
No.
OK, Emma, work it out.
John, do your stuff. Tell Pat what the total payback would be.
OK, let's see what that works out at. That offer is 32.9 APR at £17 a month. That takes 29 months to pay off. Total payback is £488.88.
Now, that's £138 more than the Hi-Fi's retail price. Let's have another credit deal on the Sony Hi-Fi, Mike.
OK, Michelle, what happened to you?
I went to a leading store and they offered me one of their in-store credit cards. I could pay back £15 a month, which was 33.7 APR.
Any mention of the total payback?
Nothing was mentioned at all, Michael. Nothing.
OK, Emma, let's do that one.
Now, that's a lower monthly payment than Pat's deal, £15 a month, as against £17 a month, but a slightly higher APR, 33.7%, as opposed to 32.9%. Who here thinks that's a better deal? For a show of hands. Couple of hands there. John, are they right?
Oh, well, let's work it out, eh? Hey, they're good, these, aren't they? You'll have to get our Jimmy to get us one. That works out at 33.7 APR at £15 a month. That takes 36 months to pay off. Total payback is £525.41.
So Michelle's deal is in fact rather worse than Pat's deal, nearly £37 worse than Pat's deal, and over £175 more than the retail price of the stereo. Our thanks to our special guest, John McArdle.
Thank you.
And over to Michael to conclude this story.
Yes, Emma, with me now is Francis Maud MP, Government Minister responsible for consumer credit. Mr. Maud, do you think that stores ought to tell customers the total payback cost on credit deals?
I think it's very desirable that they should, because it's not in the interest of stores, after all, that they should encourage people to get into debt beyond what they can afford. And so, quite apart from it being the right thing to do, it's desirable in their own commercial self-interest.
Even if people buy on in-store credit cards?
Yes, very much so. It's quite often the case. I think this is well understood that interest rates on some in-store cards are actually quite high by comparison with other sources of credit. So it's desirable that people should know what they're paying back.
Will you be introducing legislation to make sure it happens?
It is desirable that it should be, that the total payback should be made available to the customer. And of course, I'm considering whether it's right to do that.
And the bottom line is shop around. Our bottom liners found credit deals ranging from 0% APR to 42% APR, with, once we'd worked it out, total paybacks ranging from £350 to £575.30. Surely it's time the shops came clean, and besides quoting the price, the APR and the monthly payments, they always told us what the total credit payment was.
Have you ever wished you could earn pounds doing easy work in the comfort of your own living room? Extra money to buy some decent furniture, maybe? If so, you might have been tempted by ads in your local paper like this.
Earn pounds every week. Easy work from home. Excellent earnings mailing commission circulars from home.
Well, let's find out from our audience who's actually replied to ads like this. Stick your hands up if you have. Right, and what would you consider to be excellent earnings?
50, 70, 60, 40.
Well, let's see what happens next if you actually replied to this ad.
Having written off, you wait in happy anticipation of your new job.
Postman!
And your new, brighter, richer future, which has just come crashing through your letterbox. What you actually get back is this, one bit of paper. It says...
A weekly income for you at home. Earn £25 per 100 sending us addressed envelopes. There is no catch and no gimmick. Enclose a registration fee of £15. Send it to Castle Products of Macclesfield.
Now, Leslie Best, you sent off the £15, didn't you?
I did.
What happened?
I expected to get back materials so that I could start working from home. I thought I was going to have a proper job that I could do from home.
So what do you actually get back, Emma?
What you get for that £15 are 5 more bits of paper, and all they are is a set of instructions which suggest that you yourself start placing an ad in local papers or newsagent windows, exactly like the ad that you replied to in the first place. No actual job is offered. You're supposed to send any replies you get to Castle Products of Macclesfield, who will pay you 25p for each one. Castle Products of Macclesfield will then send your recruits that first single sheet of paper saying a weekly income for you at home, etc. Castle Products then sit back and wait for more £15 registration fees to be sent to them from your recruits.
Now, what about you, Joyce Maley? Because you put 3 ads in shop windows, and together with the registration fee, it cost you £25, didn't it?
That's right.
Did you get any replies?
Not a one.
So what about money? Make any money?
I didn't make a penny.
Now, I know what your answer's going to be. What about the audience? Do you think that's a proper job?
No! Well, let's look at the sums. Just to get your money back...
Postman!
That's the £15 registration fee, plus, say, £35 advertising costs. You're looking for 200 replies to your ad. To then make regular money, say £50 a week, you're looking to repeat that little miracle of 200 every week. And if you want to turn it into a proper job that keeps going for a year, you'll be needing...
Postman!
Where's the letters?
Oh, they got far too heavy to carry. Coming boy email.
Oh, airmail. This is what 10,400 letters look like. And remember, even if this miracle does occur, if you're making your £50 a week, The guy at Castle Products of Macclesfield could be making as much as £3,000 a week.
Trading standards departments have had hundreds of complaints about this scheme. And Margaret, you tried to get your money back, didn't you? What happened?
Nothing. I wrote to them and I've heard nothing at all.
So you wrote and not a penny back?
No.
You must be well fed up. And what do you think of the man who operates this scheme?
I think it's a con merchant.
Well, the man behind Castle Products of Macclesfield is Alan Richard Blinkhorn. At the tender age of 23, he's already been involved in a whole range of different businesses. He used to run Silverstone Books of Huddersfield, and then he became Herald Promotions of Macclesfield, then Belgrave Services of Macclesfield, and then his latest venture, Castle Products of Macclesfield. Mr. Blinkhorn is clearly a man who gets around, but he's also very elusive and very shy. So Danny went to see if he could find him. First, he went to Alan Blinkhorn's mailing address, 38 Herdsfield Road, Macclesfield. Mailing address, Danny?
Oh, this is it, and it's not even a letterbox. Now, the reason there was no letterbox at that last address is because, quite simply, no letters go there. All Alan Blinkhorn's correspondence comes here, to the Royal Mail sorting office in Macclesfield. They hold it for him, and once or twice a week, Alan pops down and fills up his car with those sacks and sacks and sacks full of 15 pounders. Letters. The element of surprise. So there was only one thing left, to go to Mr. Blinkhorn's last known address and confront him. Or I would have confronted him if somebody had opened the door. Well, he's not in, and that's a shame. Very nice house, isn't it? And I suppose there's a vague possibility he's not indoors because he might be on some private yacht somewhere. All them 15 quid's add up, you know. Seriously, Emma, how can we stop people like this?
Well, the post office have done their bit. Following a number of complaints from the public, Alan Blinkhorn's mail forwarding facilities have been withdrawn, and he's installed a letterbox at his boarded-up accommodation address, which Danny visited. With me now is Jim Potts of Lancashire Trading Standards. Jim, Trading Standards have received hundreds of complaints about Alan Blinkhorn's business. What's going to be done about it?
We think the government should do their bit now, stop pussyfooting about and give us some regulations that prevent these sort of adverts appearing in the papers and misleading people into thinking they're going to get genuine employment. They've been totally misled, and I'm afraid all they're asked to do is recruit other people into a scheme that benefits no one but the promoter.
So the law needs to be changed?
The law needs to be changed.
Jim Potts, thank you very much.
This is what comes out of a tap here in London as drunk by the Prime Minister and most of the members of our studio audience. It looks clean, it looks fresh, it looks clear, and it tastes, not surprisingly, like water. Well, water is in the news. Last week, the government announced plans to privatise the industry, and there have been worrying reports recently about the purity of our water. So we decided to do our very own special tap water test. Emma.
Yes, Janice, never one's to believe what we haven't tried out ourselves. We got 10 bottom liners from Glasgow and 6 from the Luton and Coventry areas to help us. We gave them all 2 little bottles like these. Now, this is Barry Kemp. You're from Rugby, aren't you? And you tested your water for us. What did you have to do?
I was asked to take a sample of water from the tap from the first flow of the morning and then continuously run the water for about 5 minutes and take another sample and then post them off to the Robins Institute at the University of Surrey for analysis.
Do you drink your water normally?
Not if I can help it.
It doesn't taste particularly nice.
No, it's very hard.
Barry, I think you'll be surprised at what we found in your water. Danny?
Yes, Emma, we'll be finding out what was in Barry Kemp's tap water in a few minutes. But let's start in Glasgow. Marion Craig, you were one of our bottom liners in Glasgow, sampling the tap water for us, right? Now, it looked OK, and what did it taste like?
It tasted fine.
All right?
Yes.
Nothing special?
No.
Would you want to know what was in it?
I'd like to know.
Janice?
Well, this mark here represents the amount of lead that EEC regulations say is allowed in tap water, 50 micrograms per litre. When Marion Craig's results came through from Surrey University, they were over double that EEC limit. She had 125 micrograms of lead per litre in her tap water, as opposed to the EEC limit of 50 per litre. Well, with me now is Andrew Lees. Andrew, what can lead actually do to you in the water?
There is no safe level of lead. It causes brain damage in children, and the government knows it, and yet it's very slow to act when dealing with lead in drinking water.
So how does the lead get there?
It gets into our drinking water from lead plumbing, lead water pipes, and sometimes lead water mains, and those materials should be removed with the utmost urgency.
Marion, more than twice the permissible limit of lead. How do you feel about that?
I find that very worrying.
Yeah, sorry to have to break it to you. On the other side is another bottom liner. This is George Woodcock from Clydebank. Bad news for you too, George. The Surrey University's findings said that in your tap water, there were 25 micrograms more than the permissible limit also. How do you feel about that?
I find that worrying too.
Yeah? Been drinking water all your life, I take it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good Scotsman.
It's not only lead in water that presents a problem. There are many other hazards. We also tested for the chemical trichloroethylene in 6 homes in the Luton and Coventry areas. 3 were below the EEC limit, but 3 were above.
Phil Cater and Kate Cater. Kate Cater. You were bottom liners. Your tap water, I take it you drink it. Do you drink a lot of it?
Quite a lot.
Uh-huh. You drink too?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Do you want to know your results?
Well, might as well.
Janice?
Well, if this mark here represents the EEC limit, we found that the Caters from Dunstable's tap water contained 61 times the limit of trichloroethylene when we got the results of our special test. Now, Andrew Leese, what do you actually make of that?
This is an industrial solvent, a chlorinated solvent, and these are very, very nasty substances, and they shouldn't be getting into our tap water at all.
But how do they get there?
They're used in industry for degreasing, and the companies are careless with them. They spill them, they don't dispose of them safely, and they end up in our taps. It's really unacceptable.
Kate Cater, I must say I saw your smile slowly vanish as you listened to that. What was your reaction?
I found it very disturbing.
Yeah. I suppose you've never given a thought to things like trichloroethylene before now, right?
No, I've taken tap water to be fairly pure and trustworthy.
Yeah. No more, eh?
No, that's right.
Gotcha.
Now, Andrew, our bottom line survey has just revealed 2 hazards present in people's water. What other dangerous substances are there?
Well, we've got pesticides, we've got nitrates, we've got other organic substances, things like chloroform, for instance.
Yes, and Barry Kemp of Rugby, I'm afraid that's where you come in, because your tap water revealed that there was 27 times the EEC guidelines on chloroform in it. Don't like the sound of that, eh?
I don't like the sound of it at all.
No, I don't blame you.
So, Andrew, how important are our findings?
These findings are very important. They point to the tip of the iceberg. The more we look, the more we find, and the less we like it.
So what can people do?
Friends of the Earth publishes a special form to complain to the European Commission, the body responsible for enforcing European community standards. Become a citizen of Europe. Fight for clean water.
OK, Andrew, thank you very much indeed.
Some disturbing findings, then, from our specially commissioned tap water survey. When we told Government Minister Colin Moynihan of our results, he said Glasgow is undergoing a major improvement programme to reduce lead in water. He went on to say that the Lee Valley Water Authority, responsible for the Dunstable area, is installing a treatment plant to reduce levels of trichloroethylene. And finally, when commenting on our chloroform test, Colin Moynihan said the 27 micrograms found in Barry Kemp's tap water is below a new proposed government limit.
For the bottom line, we turn to Carol Tongue, member of the European Parliament. Carol, what do you think about the Minister's comments?
Well, he seems very happy with what's happening in terms of cleaning up water. I don't think any of us are, certainly not after what we've seen tonight.
So what's your bottom line?
Our drinking water's polluted. We need to invest in cleaning it up. Water privatisation is not the solution, and consumers basically shouldn't have to foot the bill. The polluter should.
Finally, a word of warning for all readers of House and Garden magazine. They've just offered their regular subscribers a special 25% discount. To renew your 12-month subscription will cost you just £23.25.
But just how much would it cost to buy those same magazines straight off the newsagent's stand? A mere £22.80. That's 45p less.
And guess how much those same 12 issues would cost new subscribers. Another special Christmas offer from House and Garden weighs in at only £17.10 for a year's subscription.
Loyalty rewarded. Wake up, House and Garden, and regular readers beware.
And that's all from us for this week.
Next week, we welcome back 2 bottom liners, Rod and Chris, who've been experiencing life in the fast lane on our behalf.
So please join us then.
For the bottom line, your 7 o'clock ITV consumer show. Good night.